How did you come about a Red Bull sponsorship?
It was about 4 years ago now. They contacted me and said that they'd had their eye on me for a while. They liked what I was doing. My results have been getting better and better on the world stage, and they wanted to start a partnership. So we things started moving from there. It took a while, but we eventually got everything hashed out, and I got to start wearing the helmet.
That's superb. It's really interesting, especially with the younger listeners. I often end up with questions about, like, they see your hat and they know you're a Red Bull sponsored dude, and they're like, how do I do it? And they almost hold sponsorship as the holy grail of being a pro biker, pro kayaker, pro everything. But actually what you're saying is I proved myself first and then they came to me.
Yeah. I guess everyone's story is different. Like it is, as you say, it is the holy grail of sponsorship. Like any sport you go to, chances are there'll be somebody on the podium with a Red Bull logo. They're very particular about who they choose. And, I guess maybe I wasn't the 16, 15-year-old hotshot that was on the world stage. I kind of took a while before I got going. I didn't turn professional until 23. And then even then it took I was probably 24 when I got my first win. And I was a bit of a late bloomer in terms of my sporting career. So, that kind of translated then into how I ended up with Red Bull as well.
Yeah. So what does it really mean to be a professional mountain biker? Now, the reason I ask this question is Red Bull sponsors all sorts of things, including Formula One. And I'm pretty sure that as a professional mountain biker, you don't get like an F1 paycheck at the end of the week or month. So what does being a pro mountain biker mean?
Well, funny you mentioned F1. Like, one of the perks of being with Red Bull, I got to sit in an F1 car. David Coulthard did a show run in Belfast a couple of years ago, and I got to sit in the car, got to hold the steering wheel, chat to David Coulthard about it. Like, there's so many cool things that it's it's crazy to think it all happened just from riding a bike. It's mental. In terms of life as a pro mountain biker, it's pretty much as I hoped to. As a child, my childhood dream was to race my bike full time. It's as long as I could walk, I've just been on a bike, and I've just always said this is what I want to do all day, every day. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of other things as well. Like, there's definitely a lot of training behind closed doors, gym stuff and all the monotonous stuff and the hard work that doesn't get seen so much. But, at the end of the day, it's so much more enjoyable to me anyway, compared to any other job. I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do it.
Wow. And how do you manage keeping yourself fit and strong enough? Like, what you do has an inherent level of danger in it. Like, you're probably not going to kill yourself, but aches and pains and breaks and whatever else is very much on the cards. How do you push your training hard enough to get a like sharp knife edge without pushing too hard where you actually start injuring yourself in training, which is where you should be resting and getting stronger?
Yeah, that's exactly, like, it's a balance. You're balancing on that sharp knife edge. Part of the training is building yourself in a way that you can take those crashes. So, there's sometimes you're rehabbing from injuries, but sometimes you're doing prehab stuff where you're trying to prevent what might happen. So it might be building your shoulders strong enough that they can take a crash, or working on your mobility so that when you crash, you can, move in a way that you're not just going to injure yourself. And then in terms of the actual on the bike stuff, like, I think you really have to be calculated, as crazy as it all looks. And it looks like we're just going as fast as possible without really thinking about it. There is a lot of calculation involved, and I think choosing your battles. So when I go out and ride a training ride, 8 times out of 10, I'm not pushing fully hard on the descent. The focus of a certain ride could be just the physical gains that I'll make, the fitness stuff on the uphill. And then, you might break down the technical stuff and just do it in a slower way, that you're working on your technique. And then there would be days where you're like, right, okay, today we're going to work on speed and we're going to try go as fast as we can. And they're the days where you accept the risk and you take the risk. But you try do it in a manageable way. You're not, you know the trail and you know the variables that come into effect. So you're trying to minimize that risk through all these things, so that when you do turn it on and go fast, there's as little chance as possible to for things to go wrong.
Do you find when I used to kayak, I've had some pretty big moments, negative moments. I've had some pretty big positive moments kayaking, but I've had some pretty big negative moments as well. And which normally involves either a helicopter or a hospital visit. But anyway, that's a different story for a pint of Guinness one day. Do you end up with that oh crap moment where the world goes into slow motion for you, and you know what's about to come, and you know it's going to hurt, and then it arrives? Is that what you experience it like?
Yeah, unfortunately. For some reason things seem to slow down in those moments, and they're usually the moments where there's nothing you can do about it, only wait. Wait for what's to come. And you hit the ground and you heard the crunch, or you felt the impact, and you know something's wrong, but you don't want to admit something's wrong. So you kind of, the classic, like, I'm okay, and you get up and you try walking off or whatever, and yeah, sometimes you're not okay.